Hey y'all, welcome to episode 2 of Motivational Mishy Mondays. And you guessed it, since Valentine's Day is coming up, tonight I am talking about relationships. So Tatiana, one of my followers on Instagram, shout out to her for giving us this topic. She wanted us to talk about leveling up from an old relationship. I honestly had a hard time with this because the relationship I'm currently in is my first relationship, but I have had potential relationships or, ones that we were dating, trying to see where things went, but we didn't fully commit to an actual relationship. But when I think about it, honestly, there are so many different scenarios in regards to breakups, being single and staying single, dating people off and on and not really committing. There's so many different ways, but I do know that a big portion of wanting to level up from an old relationship is you as a person. You as a person have to be able to level up yourself. So honestly, I can't go by a situation by situation basis because there's so many factors in regards to why relationships didn't work out or whatnot. But I do want to focus on you, an individual, in regards to relationships. If you were in a relationship and you're like, yo, I need to level up, here are just some things that I believe should occur in order for you to move on. Honestly, it's easy to play the blame game. It's easy to say, well, that person just wasn't right for me, so I need to level up. Okay, well, in order for you to level up, that's your decision. It's not the other person's decision, because at the end of the day, you're the one who says yes, or you're the one who says no to the next person who comes along in your life. So here's some things you want to think about before you enter your next relationship, and this will decide whether or not you do level up. Number one is your priorities or your standards. What are the things that you must have in a relationship? Me as a Christian, I need a Christian godly man in my life, which is who I have. So what are your standards? Do you want someone who smokes and drinks? Do you not want someone like that? Do you want someone who you're okay with going out and partying and doing whatever? Like, what are your priorities? What are your standards? What are the things that you must have? Do you need someone who's like a helper, who's like handy with his hands? Stuff like that. And so I think priorities and preferences can kind of get muddled. And I don't want to say that you can't go to God and pray and say, God, I'm praying for a man that looks exactly like blank. Fill in celebrity in your mind. I'm not saying that you can't pray for physical aspects, but God will answer those. I'm not saying that that he won't say yes to those. Think about the priorities of like not just the physical aspect of a person, but their personality, their characteristics. Are they honest? I hope they're loyal. Are they willing to help you and help others that are around them, be it friends or family? Don't mix priorities and preferences. Again, it's okay to have preferences. You may not think that my boyfriend is attractive, but I think he's attractive. So, we all have different preferences, but don't mix these up with, if my preference isn't in this person, then they're not the one. Don't mix those up. Priorities come over your preference. I'm not saying that your preferences can't come true or that, God won't answer those preferences in prayer. I'm just saying don't be baffled if the person that you run into doesn't have red hair and blue eyes. Then let's talk about deal breakers. Okay, and this is where the level up thing really needs to happen. What are your deal breakers? You have to set these before you start dating, talking to anybody. Because if you start dating and talking to people and, wanting to be in a relationship, but you don't have your deal breakers set in place, you're just kind of going to be flip-flopping all over the place. For instance, if my deal breaker is, I cannot have someone who drinks a lot, but then I, keep going out with people who drink a lot, then I'm not set in that. If I've set that as a deal breaker, then as soon as I find out that somebody drinks a lot, then I'm out of there. It's like, no, I don't think this is gonna work. Your deal breakers. Think about your deal breakers. What are the things that you're like, nah fam, like as soon as you hear that this person does that, it's like, actually, maybe we're just better off as friends. And that's not to say you have to ghost the person, because they're still a person. I'm not in any way saying that when you find out that a person that you're talking to or dating is somehow not aligning with what you've been praying for, that you just shun them and you're like, never speak to me again. No, literally, they're also a person with feelings. Yes, they have feelings. So be kind. Just be kind. You don't know what that person has gone through relationally as well. You have your scars, but other people do too. And so make sure that if you're like, ooh, this isn't going to work out, you're kind. Be sweet. I shouldn't have to say that, but I feel like we live in a culture right now where it's like, oh, if my standards aren't met, if I'm not treated like a queen or a king, then like, be gone. And it's like, okay. Like, there are instances where you do have to cut things off. I'm not saying that, there aren't people that you've literally had to be like, yo, I have to block this person immediately, et cetera, et cetera. But like, if it's just some person that you're just talking to and you just want to ghost them like that and be like, nah, like, okay, whoa. That's for another day. Okay, back to the whole blame game thing that I mentioned. Again, I said before that like we tend to, when we say, I want to level up from my relationship, you tend to think about what the other person did that was all wrong to you. But think about if you were in a relationship that ended either mutually or one of you broke up with the other, how did you have a hand in that? Because again, a relationship is two people. So whether you really think about it or don't want to think about it or don't, if you broke up with that person because you're like, well, like they just weren't, whatever your reason is, you still have to think, okay, how did I have a hand in that though? Was I not communicating correctly? Did I have expectations that like the other person was unable to meet or just like was trying to meet, but I just couldn't see that they were trying? Like, what are the things that you're like, okay, actually, if you really self-evaluate, you're like, I kind of had a hand in this relationship going down. And I mean, if you think about it like that, then you're able to think, okay, you're not only able to be able to choose a partner that you're like, okay, like this is a level up, but you yourself are able to level up in your relationship, your next relationship. Do you know what I mean? And I mean, there have been plenty of times where people have broken up and then taken some time to level up, and then the other person has taken time to level up themselves, and then they get back together. And then because they've worked on themselves, now they work together. So think about that. Think about it when you want to play the blame game. Don't point the finger at the other person, but think about how you affected it as well. I think this all-encompassing message is work on you. When you want to level up from an old relationship, you really have to work on yourself. You have to say, okay, this is what happened. First, I need to take some time to heal, because breaking off a relationship and then jumping into another one, and many people don't recommend it. It's just not, it doesn't seem wise, because you're still having to deal with the after effects of you've been with this person, you've had a bond, you did these things, you went these places. There's so much history that you still have to like unravel for yourself before you can jump into another, relationship where you are forming, again, more bonds, more history, more memories with someone else. So make sure that you're taking the time as an individual to, think about the past relationship, what you could have done better, or past relationships. If you have more than one past relationship, think about those. Think about, okay, what are things that I need to work on? What are some standards I should have set in the beginning? Some deal breakers I really should have just not let go by. Think about all those things. And honestly, if you think about all those things, pray on them. I believe that God will provide a person for you that fits those things. And that's not to say that you won't struggle. It's not to say that, you won't date a person where I'm going to accept this, even though it's a deal breaker. Like, we're all human. This is, being in relationships has how we learn, like, what we like and what we don't like. Just also, I guess, like I said in my last video, give yourself some grace in this. I feel like when relationships fail, people feel like failures. They're like, man, I totally let that happen. Or, I allowed this person to treat me this way, and et cetera, et cetera. And you shouldn't feel like a failure. Yes, like that moment and that commitment did fail, but that doesn't mean that you can't get up and try again and that you won't succeed the next time. Be positive. I know, like, Valentine's Day, when I was a single person, I was always like, man, like Valentine's Day, like I don't have anybody to really spend it with. But I would just focus on the people I do love, like my family, my friends, and myself. Make sure you love on yourself too. So don't just think about Valentine's Day as a couples thing, even though like that's what the market and social media tells us it is. Make sure you love on other people too. So that's what I got for y'all. I'm not gonna do a huge recap because I feel like it was a long video already. So if you need a recap, just rewind. So yeah, you guys, I hope that was able to motivate you, encourage you, any single people out there like trying to level up on their relationship, any people who are in relationships who are like, yo, like I honestly need to think about that in my current one. Yeah, y'all, thanks for watching. Happy Monday. I never said that in the beginning. I don't think I said welcome to my show. Yeah, so I will see you guys next Monday. Thanks for watching. Oh, make sure if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment your thoughts underneath about what your tips might be for leveling up from an old relationship. Please let me know because I'd love to read them. Make sure you share this video to anybody or like on your feed or for anybody specific that you might know that you're like, yo, this could really help you. Make sure you have subscribed if you haven't already. Please subscribe because these videos are coming out every Monday until season 5 is over. And yeah, I will see you next Monday. Bye guys.